Okay, let's take a look at how we can recover NSSF. If we use the old rates to pay people, and then at the time of making the return realized we had to use the new rates, and you then redid your payroll using the new rates and did your return. So now you want to recover the difference between old and new rates from the employees. So the first thing, these are the steps that we need to take. There are 8 of them. Let me move this up so we can see there are 8 steps. So what should you expect to recover? So first of all, these were the old rates, 1080. The new rates went up to 2160. Of course, these are for people with salaries above, let's say salaries above 36,000. Okay, so this applies to those people. Anyone below that, these figures will change slightly. So the difference that you're recovering is 1080. But because NSSF has an impact on taxation, you have to subtract the deduction in taxation that the NSSF affects. So the difference you're actually recovering is, again, for people with amounts above 36,000, you'll take 30% of that figure, which comes to 324. So the difference you should expect to recover is like 756. So I've taken an example from my file. You'll see that the net cash the person had on the new rates is this figure, which is 63. And then when you had done the old rates, the figure would be slightly higher, 64,561, which is higher than what it is with the new rates by 756. So you can see the figures tally. This should tally with this, because we're going to use the net cash to do the calculations for everybody. Of course, if everybody in your organization has above 36,000, you know, all you have to do is recover 756. Now this assumes that but we had all moved to the 2013 rates by that time, so 200 does not arise in this case. Okay, so first step, okay, let's come here. So we want to set the NSSF back for February back to the old rates. So you can see in our case here, these are the old rates. They ended in January and the new rates started in February. So we want to take this old rate up to February and start this in March. Okay, so first step is to say it's editable. Say okay, and then remember you have to do it for both tier 1 and tier 2. So let's change. Now you have to follow a certain sequence so that we don't get the error that this has gone in between that one. So let's change this first to 2020. Am I doing this right? Yes. To 2024 March. Okay. Then I can change this to February. 2024 Feb. Okay, that's tier 1. So I'm saying the 2013 rate goes up to February, which is what we want, and the 24 starts in March. Do the same thing here. We change the 24 one to start in March, and the 2013 one to end in February. Very good. So we have now both 2013s end in February and both 2024 start in March. Okay, so that's done. So we go now to the payroll and we go to February. So now I'm in February. Now I want to show you that net figure that I was talking about. So here is this guy. You can see his net cash here, right? 63,805. That's this figure, 63,805. And this is before I've processed, so it's still showing the new rates. So if I process, it should go back to the old rates, 360 and 720. Here they are, 360 and 720, and the allowed portion is now 1080. And you'll see the net cash here is 64,561. 64,561. You can see that's the difference. Okay, that's what I meant. So to get the figures, the net cash, use this report, this net cash report, export it. So let's export. I'm putting it in documents test, so you find a folder where you can put it. So let's go to that. Now let's see, what have I just exported? Let me delete the old ones. Okay, so this is what I have just exported. So let's call it Feb NSSF. Oops. Feb NSSF old. This is using old rates. Net cash. Okay. I should have called it net cash old rates. Net cash dash old rates. So that's the old rates. Then I go back to pay slips. So these are the old rates. Now I want to go back to the new rates. So we come back here and we reset this again. Let's start with tier 1. Change this back to January. So start with the tier 1 first, 2024 Jan. And then go to tier 2 and say 2024 Feb. No, go to tier 1, the 2024. Then we go to tier 2, the 2013. Change this to Jan. And 2024 tier 2, change this to Feb. Okay, now make sure that yours looks exactly like this. So 2013 tier 1 should end in January 2024. 2024 tier 1 should start in February 2024. Same with tier 2, 2013 ends in January. Tier 2 2024 starts in February. So now we go back there because we're in February. We reset this to be the new rates. We process, it should change the 2 back to 420 and 1740. So we come here, 420, 1740, and up here you have 2160, and our net cash is 63,805. Okay, so we get our report, export. Let's send that. That's done. I don't need to, it's already open. In fact, it's open twice. I come here. So now I can copy the name of this file, change this file to new rates. To new rates. Okay, so I have my old rates and my new rates. Okay, so I want to get rid of these two which are done before. Then I want to create new ones, so you can create the files. So you say here Feb NSSF recovery calculation. So what I want to do is go to the old rates, and it doesn't matter. Go to the old rates, pick the employee and the net cash, right? You can even delete because we don't need this. Let's delete this. We say here I want this, 2 net cashes. I come to that file I created. This is my calculation. I save. So I right click, I do 1, 2, 3 paste. Okay, then I close that. This is the old rates. Now I want the new rates. Let's save. We go to the new rates. We delete those columns, the ones we don't need. I only need these 2 columns. I copy, and then I want to go to that file again, but I think it's open, the calculation here. So I come, right click, paste. Let me just, now the reason why I've included the name in both lists is you want to make sure that you have, the figures are for the correct person. right? So compare Lucy is Lucy, John is John, like that. It should be the same because it's the same list of people and it's in the same order. So this may be a superfluous test, but it's a good thing to just check. So okay, let's delete now. Let's delete these two columns. I don't need them because all I need is these two figures here, these two net caches. Okay, now I want the difference between the two. Let's say diff, so I come here, equals, minus, and I get the difference. So we were expecting 756 and that's what we have. Okay, if you have people with lower salaries, these figures will be less than 756. The maximum is 756, but you can expect to have some differences. Okay, so there we are. So let's save this. Now I want the actual. Let's come here and create a new file. So we say fab NSSF recovery for import. Okay, so let's open this now. So I want a file that I can use to import these figures. So I've opened the file, February NSSF recovery for import. I go here. This is my calculation. So I can copy my data, come to that file, paste again with 1, 2, 3. Then I delete these two I don't need. Now when I do 1, 2, 3 paste, this comes in as a figure, not as a formula. Just make sure that this is a figure so that when you delete these two columns, it doesn't mess up this figure. Okay, so that's fine. So now change the headings to emp name and amount 1. Remember, this is the way the column titles must always be named for importing. So emp name and amount 1, and we have our differences. Okay, so we are now ready. So we can close all these files. So this is the file that I want to use for importing. So now I want to make that recovery in March. So I come to March, okay, in my payslips, and I want to put a recovery of 7 whatever to come in here as a recovery against the salary. So I come to import salary, import data, go to my folder. This is the one for import. I import, yes. I match names. If you've never imported, you have to match names to make sure that the system knows what is being imported. Then I say transfer to add batch. Now you want to put a note against this figure. So you can type Feb 2024 NSSF correction. Okay. And then you click this button and it puts it on each person. Make sure you see it on everybody's line. Then you come to varying, make sure you're in March. You can type V2 to take you straight to the voluntary deductions 2. Now I have not activated a pay type that I can use or an item that I can use. So let's go and do that step. So yes, so we can leave this open. Let's go here, payslip items, select here, view by section ID, come down to volded 2. Now you can use, if you've already used recovery, you can use something else like either miscellaneous or other deduction. So activate the one that you're going to use. In my case, I'm going to use recovery. I highlight it, click this to activate it. Make sure you see FVC after you have clicked activate. Okay, this means it's available for the varying app. So now we go to the varying app. No, now we continue with the import. You come back here, transfer to add batch. I closed it because you have to close it for it to refresh. So I come back here. So I'm in March. I say V2. And I find recovery here. And I say add to varying. Yes. So now I've added the entries to oh, I forgot to put in the comment again. So import. There we are. Yes. Match names. Transfer to add batch. Put the note. Feb 2024 NSF correction. And click this, the button. And then you come to varying. Make sure you're in March. Type V2. Recovery. add it. What have I done? Oh, I didn't delete them. Go back there, varying, select them, delete, and then I can come and add the batch. Add to varying, yes. So now it adds everybody with the amount 756 and the comment February 2024 NSF correction. So now when you process, that entry will come in as a deduction over here. Let's go down. Here we are. So you have the 756 NSF correction. The reason it's not showing is because I added an item which I have not yet refreshed. So if I come and do full, now it will be there. Where is it? I'm in Feb. I should be here. Okay, there it is. Recovery 756 February 2024 NSF correction. And that's it.